Hi guys, welcome back to iDrum Magazine. My name's Pat Garvey. We're going to pick up where we left off last month with the left foot independence ideas. Okay, this assumes you've done the practice on that stuff because we're going to get a bit more funky with it now, if you like. We're going to keep our snare drum and bass drum the same. Okay, and that is they're not going to move from the pattern that we were playing in the first series of lessons, which was just 2, 3, 4. Okay, and what we're looking for is for that not to be disturbed in exactly the same way that we were looking for it to not be disturbed in the first lesson. And we're going to change our left foot pattern, okay? We're just incorporating some of the notes that we used in the first lesson, okay? But now we're forming an interesting rhythm, okay? A 3/2 rumba clave, right? On the notation, I've kept everything as 16th notes, just so you can see how it's kind of developed, and hopefully we won't have the clave police after us for anything we're about to do. But just read it as 16th notes. I would suggest do a bit of research, have a look at clave, have a look at Afro-Cuban, some Latin styles of music. We're not going to go into that really in this lesson. That's the first kind of chewy bit, right? It's not that complicated though when you look at it on paper, okay? We're basically playing the 1, okay? The 1-ah, okay? The 2-ah, the 3 and the 4. We're not using it in cut time, okay? So you've got this. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can find all of those notes in the exercises you've been practicing for the last month or so. So it's really just a question of rearranging them. Take it back against our pattern, if you like. So this was our pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, we're looking that everything kind of falls together, doesn't flam, and that you've got control over everything. That's the first thing to practice really, okay, is taking this rhythm that you're used to and just feeling your way around it. It's going to want to pull and push you at first, and that's what you need to get rid of before we move on. Because what we're going to do is we're going to add, we're going to change our right hand pattern. Okay, so our left foot, snare drum, bass drum, it's going to stay the same. It's not going to change at all. But we're going to use 3 different hand patterns. Now, the first one is exactly the same as what we've been using anyway, except for we're just applying quarter note accents to it now. Okay, so that is 1, 2, 3, 4. Our second one is a variation on that. All we're doing is subdividing the 8th note, okay, the offbeat 8th note. It's one of my favourite patterns actually, and that is this. 1, 2, 3, 4. The third one, this is all in the notation available to download. The third one relates back to our 3/2 rumba clave, okay? And that is we're taking a cascara pattern and playing it on the hi-hat, right? So here's our pattern before I've done anything to it. Now what I've done, just to make our lives infinitely more difficult, is I'm going to play that along with the 3-2 rumba first of all, so you can hear where the notes fall, okay? And if you look on your notation, you'll see that all of our left foot notes fall at the same time as our right hand notes when we're talking about this third rhythm, okay? What I've done on your notation is I've accented the notes where our left foot isn't playing, okay? So it means what you've got is this. Now, this is just an exercise, okay? Yeah, it's a nice groove. It's very usable stuff, but we're approaching it, and I'm approaching it from a purely exercise preparatory aspect, okay? However, we need to go back first of all, and now that I've introduced the right hands to you, and we've introduced basically what we're going to be doing, we need to do what we did in the first lesson, and that is exhaust the left foot with these hand patterns, okay? So I'd suggest get the pattern going first and then add the left foot, or add however you want to do it, right? I'm going to get the pattern going and then I'm going to add the left foot. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, there'd be nothing wrong with making a real meal of these accents, okay? Remember we talked about in the first series of lessons, I think it was when we were talking about the rudiment groove actually, and adding accents, way back in issue 1, we were talking about up and downs and accenting with the shoulder of your stick, okay, on the hi-hat or the ride cymbal as it worked. So don't be afraid of really laying into it. I'm using a hi-hat over here. If you haven't got one or don't use one, that's fine. All this can be put on the ride, okay? I'm just using the hi-hat really because it makes everything a bit more audible. But on the ride it works just as well. So, preference is yours, whatever. That's our first hand pattern, okay? Second pattern, I'll get the pattern going again and then we'll add the left foot. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, remember again, we want to exhaust this because we don't want to have to be going back over anything later. It's a bit of a waste of time, okay? So if we can do it properly in the first place, it makes a lot more sense. So the third thing to do is to take our third hand pattern, okay, and get that going with our left foot. Now this is a bit more tricky and it's quite chewy actually, so take your time with it and don't get too frustrated. The key is work slowly with it, okay? If I get the pattern going here first and then we'll add the left foot again, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice little groove, but it takes a bit of work. And it's slow work, remember, okay? Take it, build it up in however it works for you, but a structured and disciplined approach to this will get you to the end result a lot quicker than rushing will, or jumping over fences, if you like. So the next step then is to do exactly what we did in the first series of lessons and put those 3 exercises together, okay? In 4-bar phrases, 3-bar, 2-bar, 1-bar, move them around however you like. So I'm going to put a click on, okay? I'll put it on with a bit of tempo to it, okay? So this is an 80 BPM click, and I'll just go around the exercises and moving them as we go. One, two, three, four. Now, after you've got comfortable with them and you've got the control of them, then you can think about speed. Okay, speed doesn't come before control. That's not how it works. So, and I'm sure that we all know that by now, but it's something that's really important to remember. If you can play something slowly with control, you're going to be able to find the speed in it. Much better than if you can just play something fast, but you can't actually play it slowly, okay? So if I do the same thing, but I'm just going to add 30 BPM to it. So this is 110 now, right? So now the exercise has got kind of running shoes on, if you like. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you get the idea. You can push it, you pull it, you can do what you like with it. Go around in 4-bar, 3-bar, 2-bar, 1-bar phrases, but whatever you do, do it intentionally, okay? So that everything you're doing, you're playing with intention. Nothing's happening by accident, and you mean to do everything. That's another important aspect with all of this kind of stuff. And remember the control thing. Practice these slowly, and it will do you a world of good. And you can start incorporating your left foot into some quite interesting things. It doesn't have to be on a pedal like this. Like I said, it can be on a hi-hat, it can be on anything. Listen, I hope you got something out of this. These 2 lessons on the left foot stuff. I'll see you next time. Stay safe.